So hello everyone, my name is Harsh. So now let's talk about self-driving cars because Las Vegas is about to get a whole lot more of them on streets. Nvidia regulators just approved permits for Tesla, Waymo and Uber to run robotaxis across countries, which includes Las Vegas. Tesla can deploy up to 5,000 vehicles while Waymo and Uber can each allow up to 1,000. Now, those numbers are the maximum they are allowed to run, not a guarantee that they all be on the road right away. Each company still have to pass inspections, sort of insurance and prove their cars are actually ready before that happens. So it's more like permission than a promise. Still, this sets Las Vegas up to become one of the most competitive robotaxis market in the entire country. Anyways, now let's talk about AI price war. OpenAI just made a pretty big move in the AI price war. They have cut their price of their GPT 5.6 sole model for developers at least for the next 3 months. It's now $4 per million input tokens and $20 for per million output tokens, down from 5 and 30. That's input cost down to 20% and output cost down roughly a third. This mainly matters for startup and developer building apps or tools on the top of OpenAI tech for them. Running large workload, even a small drop in price can add up to real saving every month. If you are just using ChatGPT normally through your subscription, price isn't changing. Okay, so let's talk about TikTok and its parents company ByteDance just agreed to pay up to $400 million to settle a major children privacy case in the USA. The Justice Department says $300 million of that gets paid right away, with another $100 million tried on the earlier legal case involving musical TikTok predatory app. The case centered on COPPA. There's the law that control how online services handle data from kids under 13. TikTok isn't admitting any wrongdoing here, but a settlement this size says a lot about how costly weak age control and the youth data practice can get. Anyways, so let's talk about Apple. Apple is reportedly cutting around 200 jobs across Siri, Vision Pro gaming and a massive video team. According to Apple, the reason is that its update Siri architecture needs a different mix of skills. So now roles are going away while others are being created elsewhere. Worth being clear, this doesn't mean Apple is giving up on Siri or Vision Pro. It looks more like Apple narrowing its focus, putting resources behind the part of AI and spatial computing it thinks actually have a future. So let's talk about US security. US security agencies just put out a warning about attackers targeting Siemens industrial controllers, the equipment that runs physical processor in place like factories, energy plants, and water systems. Attackers are reportedly using AI-generated scripts to find and probe the controllers when they are exposed online. Some disguising the code as normal monitoring software. Now, that doesn't mean AI planned this attack on its own. What it means is that the AI tool can cut down the time and skill someone needs to build or tweak exploit code. The recommendation for agencies is pretty simple. Get these controllers off the public internet, patch them, and tighten up authentication and networking separation. Okay, so now let's talk about Harvey. Legal AI company Harvey just released the Tenet. Here, first open weight model built specifically for legal work. Harvey says it was trained on the expert legal data and tested on the tasks similar to what associates at big law firms actually do. What's interesting here is the open weight part. Instead of locking it behind an API, organization can actually inspect or run the model themselves, which gives them a lot more control. But doing well on benchmarks isn't the same as being reliable for real legal work. How this actually plays out well come down to accuracy, how well it covers different legal jurisdictions, confidentiality, and whether real lawyers are still reviewing produces. So let's talk about Amazon. Amazon's book scanning operation is getting some serious scrutiny right now. Basically, an investigation used a tracking device to follow a shipment of book to an Amazon facility where workers were reportedly cutting off the bindings and scanning the pages to create AI training data. Amazon actually confirmed the facility does support AI data work. Now there's the pressure on the FTC to look into whether buying up and destroying book in bulk like this could hurt competition or limit access to material that's already scarce. It's a good reminder that this whole AI data race isn't just happening on website anymore, it's reaching into physical books archives too. Okay, so let's talk about Ditto. Here's a dating startup called Ditto that's trying to get rid of swiping entirely. Instead of a feed, its AI just picks a match for you and sets up the actual date, time, location, and all. Ditto says it's now got over 160,000 college students signed up. TechCrunch reported 150,000 a bit earlier this month and said about 1 in 5 matches actually turned into a real date. What makes this interesting is the products built around getting people to actually meet, not keeping them scrolling. The harder part is going to be safety, making sure matches are actually good and whether it can grow beyond these tightly managed college communities. So anyways, let's talk about Y Combinator. Here's a new Y Combinator startup called Meteoric, and their idea is honestly kind of wild. They want to use drones to physically clear clouds away from the solar farms. The pitch is that moving air around near the panels lets more sunlight through, no chemical involved, and they are claiming it could boost power up to by as much as 30%. Worth flagging that numbers are still just the company's own projections. Nobody is still independently verified it's a scale yet. If it actually works and the economic holds up, it means getting more power out of solar farms that already exist without buying more land or panels. The real question are how much energy the drone themselves use, whether this actually works in real weather, what it costs to run, and if there any environmental downside. Okay, so let's talk about tech war head accounts. For the first time in the 13 years CBRE's been tracking this, New York has actually overtaken the Bay Area in total tech worker head accounts. CBRE counted about 394,300 tech jobs in New York compared to roughly 375,700 in the Bay Area. But there's an important catch. San Francisco still ranks first overall on CBRE's broader index, which factors in things like talent concentration and research investments, not just head accounts. What this really shows is tech jobs spreading out into finance, media, healthcare, and other industries instead of staying locked inside traditional tech companies.